Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com's tactics trainer, and I'm going to try another group of 3 puzzles and share my thoughts along the way. So, this first one we're playing is white. Okay. Well, our queen's under fire. This is the first move I'm considering. We also have ensuing checks on g8. Queen check, king here. Queen check on g8. And this is looking like it's some mating puzzle. Oh my goodness. There might be a quiet move to start this puzzle. Wow. This seems appealing. You know, king here, queen check, king g7, and then queen g8 check, and we push them around. And but I'm pausing for a moment here because I'm seeing a way where we can cut the king off. First move, queen g3. We still defend our bishop, and we're threatening mate here, as well as queen takes e5 mate. There's 2 mate threats with queen g3, controlling these adjacent diagonals, if we could get on it. Queen controlling the dark squares. Queen g3, how do you stop mate against this square here? My first thought was bishop here, but that's not stopping this mate with queen takes e5. Queen g3. That's a pretty slick move. The bishop can't stop the queen from going to a light square and a dark square. So it could interfere with getting to this light square, but can't stop the queen from moving along a dark diagonal. Queen g3, the bishop can't stop both mate threats. It's up to the queen. Where can she move where she defends both e5 and g8? There isn't a square. I should also point out what made me shift gears. It ran through my head really quick there, but I was thinking d8, and then what made me go into this variation with queen g3, and I'm not certain that it's correct just yet, but what made me go in this direction was seeing that if it's black's turn to move right now, there isn't a move black can make and give check to the white king. So that made me think about quiet moves. You don't have to go right in for a forcing move. There can be a quiet move. There isn't going to be any danger like multiple checks and our king running around and stuff like that. So I think this is it. Queen g3. If queen to f8, we give a check here. Queen takes pawn. The queen would have to block on g7, and then we run down to e8, and then it's mate next move. I think this is it. That is correct. Okay, so this is the only way to stop mate. You have to give up the queen. Okay, yeah, those 2 threats of g8 and e5 were too much. Very, very tempting to go in for queen to d8 and start looking at this and the king running away. I had even gone as far as thinking about, maybe pushing a pawn up if we could get the king to g5 and stuff like that. But yeah, first move, a silent one, but a deadly one. All right, let's try puzzle 2. Okay. Team black. I was ready to move really quick just now, thinking it was a mate in 2. I'm not looking at taking the bishop. That's probably not good, because you're running right into a double check. Knight takes pawn. Knight takes either pawn. This opens up the file. I was thinking queen here, and after king f2, queen g3 mate. That's true, but the king has another option. King to g1, but we could take the bishop in that case. Okay. Oh. So we don't go to h3. We go to a square which limits the king's options the most. Not queen h3, but rather g4. King only has one option, and then queen g3. Okay. Every once in a while you get a mate puzzle, And that one turned out to be mate in 2. Okay, let's move on to the last one. All right. Wow. Okay. It's interesting. My first thought is I haven't seen this puzzle before. Once in a while you'll get the same puzzle coming back around, but not the case here. Knight f4 check. Must be the start. White's ready to queen. What attacking pieces do we have here? Wow. Knight here, check. What is the fantastic follow-up, though, after... Well, I don't know. King here. There is a fantastic follow-up. Excuse me, on knight f4, if, let's say, king h2. On king h2, there's queen to e6. And if white is promoting, the idea is to give a check on h3 and then g2. Knight on this square, I start to observe these light squares a bit more closely. Knight f4, king g3 is another one to consider. Knight f4, king g3. What are you doing now? Given another check, knight h5. I really don't like this one. There's too many king moves to be considering. I don't know. Knight f4. It's got to be that to start, right? Oh, wait a second. Why am I not looking at this rook being captured, maybe? That might be something, huh? Yeah, let's see. Knight f4, king g1. Oh, no, that's not working. Knight f4, king g1, queen takes pawn, and then mate next on g2. This must be a start. This has to be the first move. Knight f4, I have this one covered. I have this one covered as well. Knight f4, king to either of these two. It's queen takes pawn, and then queen to g2 mate. Knight f4, king h2 as well is queen takes pawn. So on knight f4, if king h1, g1, or I should say knight f4, if king h1, h2, or g1, it's the same move. Queen takes pawn, leading to mate next. So the only one to consider after knight f4 is king g3. And on that, the rook is unprotected. But I don't know. This should be some mating problem, because look at the material. White's soon to have a new queen on board. I don't think scooping up the rook is doing a whole lot, unless it's going in the direction of one-day mating. Knight f4, king g3, queen takes rook, king takes knight, or maybe even promoting next. Okay. Also, another thing, after knight f4, king g3, if we're not swift, if we're not quick enough, rook h1, we're getting in some trouble, maybe. Knight f4, king g3? And what are we doing next? We could give another check. Would this be some perpetual puzzle? Is this the best that black can do? We don't know. Still looking for a win, but with white so close to queening, this feels like it should be a win for black. Knight f4, king g3. Our knight is attacked, though. Can we really give him up? We could defend him. One quiet move, but that seems way too slow. I mean, for one, you could play I don't know, rook h1, threatening to take the bishop and then take the knight, and the queen alone won't be enough to weave any mating net. Huh. I didn't consider queen takes knight much because you just promote. And that's stopping an ensuing check here. Knight f4, king g3? Is that what this is? You just go back here? I think that's what it is. I don't see a win here. Knight f4, king g3, queen takes rook. Promote. Knight f4, king g3, queen takes rook. King takes knight. I don't see how that's going to help. I mean, you could give a check with the bishop. The bishop could enter as an attacker, but yeah, I don't know about that. I've spent too long on this. I'm going to say that it's I hate to say it, but I think it's a draw. Is this really the best we could do? What am I missing? Let me give it one more shot here. Dig deep. Focus. Knight f4, king g3. If I don't get this puzzle, I'm blaming it on the bird that's in the background. I don't know if you could hear it. To turn up the volume. There's a bird in the background. He's saying, come on, get this puzzle over with. Maybe it's a she. Oh, I'm distracted. Who said I'm not focused anymore? I'm not focused if I'm concerned about the gender of the bird. Good grief. Knight f4, king g3. Queen takes rook. Oh, I don't think that leads to anything. I'm going to say knight f4, and then you jump back here. Yeah, I'm lazy. Okay, that's the correct start. I knew that. This is the part that's tricky. All right, I vote. You go back here, and that's the best that you could do. Let me give it one more shot. Now that it's advanced one move. Queen takes rook, king takes knight. I mean, there's other choices too, though. Maybe there wouldn't be because there's like a knight check here after queen takes rook. If you don't take the knight could come here with check. So queen takes rook, king takes knight, bishop check. I don't buy it. No, because the king can run over here. I'm going to say it has to be this. It is correct. Oh, man, distracted by a bird? No. Good grief. Yeah, I can't even say that I have this one solved either because there's other things that I didn't consider. Like if the king is going to this square on g4. This was really tough to know that there really isn't something more than this little perpetual. Let me go into the analysis board real quick because I want to look at this one variation. Which one right here? Let me get it lined up. This position right here. So okay, this is where the puzzle started after push. Knight f4, king here, knight check. If king here, or maybe this pawn can contribute. Or there's even other checks too that the knight can be giving. That's another thing. Or queen here with check. This might be it. Queen check. And if the knight is taken, that's check. And I was ready to say that's checkmate, but that's not the case. That's check. And this would be checkmate. All right, so I think I had that right. That's a pretty cool line. If the king is going to the g4 square, queen check, knight taken, and if the knight isn't taken, can't turn out really well, can it? No, probably not. Like, let me just show one. I don't know, king here. I'll show both, actually. There'd be bishop check, and then faster mate. Or maybe that's equal. Same number of moves. And the other one is if the king goes here instead of taking the knight. No, we'd still have this bishop check. There's one other thing I'm not considering, though. There's a knight block in reply to this queen check. Queen here, what do you do if the knight blocks? Oh, you give a check here, and then you're going to be capturing this knight with check soon. King here, we take here, and that's probably leading to mate. You know, at a certain point you could stop calculating. In fact, now this rook could be taken with some forks. King here, just to point out, get the rook, and there's no longer any fear of a pawn promoting. But yeah, very interesting puzzle. Those are tough because the temptation is certainly where's the win, where's the win, where's the win, but it's certainly realistic because, you know, you don't know, just like in a regular game, you just don't know if there is a win. In some cases, this is the best case scenario, and I'm glad to have got it. But yeah, feel free to share how you did with these 3 puzzles in the comment section below, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.